Hello beings, welcome to the experience. My name is Douglas Flamino and today I'm going to show you what 30 days studying English were like. I'd just like to ask you for a favor. Leave a like on the video, just click on the like button, it will help me a lot. And comment Pocahontas, it really boosts my video. Look, this video was one of the most requested videos here in the last 6 months. A lot of people asked for it. Oh, do it while learning a new language, do it while practicing English. And this video here, just like many other videos on the channel, is a demonstration of how your suggestions are taken into consideration. Several extremely random videos here on the channel I made at your request. I really enjoy seeing the suggestions. Sometimes there are suggestions for some really weird things, but I get curious and think, wow, why not do this? So keep leaving your suggestions here in the videos because I will take them into consideration. Obviously, it doesn't mean I'm going to do everything you guys write, right? Because for God's sake, if I did that too, I wouldn't even be alive anymore. Why did I choose to study English for 30 days instead of a language like Japanese or Mandarin? Because English will be more useful to me. I'm not fluent in English actually, I'm not even good at English, so I go for what's more useful to me, right? And one thing that's a bit complicated for me in this video is how I'm going to measure my level of English for you guys. So, I decided to make it like a game and I divided the English language into 4 attributes. I'm going to measure how good I am at each of them with an energy bar, just like in a game. So you can have an idea of how I progressed, of how good I already was at each of these. And these 4 attributes are listening, which is the ability to hear, reading, which is the ability to read, speaking, which is the ability to speak, and writing, which is the abzade. Wow, I'm not even writing properly in Portuguese. At the start of this video, that's how my skill was. In each of these, I'm going to rank them from best to worst. Reading, which was the skill of reading, up until then was my best skill, even though it wasn't that good, right? Still, you can already say I'm not a beginner. I was already able to understand quite a lot by reading, but I didn't have the ability to read an entire book in English. And just so you have an idea of how weak I was when it came to reading, if I watched a movie or a series that was in English but with English subtitles as well, I also wouldn't have the ability to understand everything that was said, but even so I could still understand quite a lot. So, I'm going to rate myself from 0 to 10, with 10 being a fluent person who understands 100% of any written English, I would give myself a 4. The second skill I was better at was writing, the act of writing. I was only not better at writing when compared to reading. Because sometimes I can understand the context of a new word because of the sentence, and I can't really do that when I'm writing, right? I'm not going to use words I don't know in a sentence where I understand the context. So for me it was much easier to read than to write, especially because I make a lot of grammar mistakes. So when it comes to writing, I'd give myself a 3. That's weak. Third place in this skill is speaking. My speaking was really bad. Okay, I can write, I can communicate like that, just barely, with someone through writing. Would I starve in the United States? I wouldn't starve, but honestly I freeze up, it's much worse, so the score is even lower. I'm going to say that my speaking is at a level 2 because sometimes a sentence I could write I can't say because the words just don't come to mind at the moment. Well, and what I'm worst at, where I give myself a 1, is listening. Because a lot of sentences I can read when they're spoken, especially by Native Americans, sometimes I just can't understand because people speak really fast. Or, I don't know, they talk a lot or use slang or a lot of expressions or they drop a lot of sounds. So, for me the worst part is listening. It's being able to hear and understand exactly what the person is saying or what's going on in a show. It seems like when I have to listen and process the first sentence, like watching a movie in English without subtitles, okay, I got the first sentence. They've already said 4 more sentences. I'm already behind, so my brain is still too slow to process words, to process sentences. My listening is really bad. Okay, how did I choose my learning strategy and decide to study English during this time? I've dedicated myself to learning many new things, especially because of this channel since I've already learned a lot. I know that consistency is a very important thing. So even if I don't use the best tactic to learn English but use a so-so tactic, as long as I'm consistent, that's going to be much better for me. So I gathered everything I could do to study English and picked what I enjoy the most. During those 30 days I forced myself to do some unpleasant things. Some things just can't be avoided. Now I'm going to show you how my study process went. One thing that my friends who already speak English recommended to me is to watch series or movies that I already like, with English subtitles. And I can already say that this strategy wasn't interesting for me. Wow, it's extremely unpleasant. No, I think here I feel like I'm watching Black Mirror, yeah. I didn't know there was a 6th season. I had watched up to the 5th. I don't think it's gonna work for me to try to watch a series I like because it makes me annoyed. I'm just so fed up, like, with hearing English, with studying English. Wow, and when you want to watch something for entertainment, you just want to not think. You just want to relax and chill and watch something. You don't want to study. So I think it's really bad to have to do that with a series I like. I think I'd rather put on some other series and treat it as studying, because I can't link studying with entertainment, with something enjoyable. It's not working. English learning apps, that's an interesting tactic. Well, since I didn't have any actual English teacher to teach me the grammar part during this experience, I used the Speak app. Speak has a unique feature, which is that it's a platform specifically for studying English, and it uses artificial intelligence as an aid. It's really cool. I'll show you an example here. So let's go Speak. And I like this part here. Create a free conversation. Here, you can either choose the topics or you can also do an advanced one here, where you imagine the scenario of the conversation. This is the coolest part of this app for me. You will create 100% of the context of what you want to talk about. So you can, for example, talk about things you like. You are the character here. In the second option, it's the computer, right? The AI. And here is the topic, the Dungeon Master. The computer will be a person wanting to play, and the situation here is that the person wants to know more about how the rules work. Go.
Hi, I heard you're the D&D master. Can you explain the rules of the game to me?
Now I'm in trouble, right? I can't explain the rules that simply. I'll try to tell him here how the rules work. With my broken English, he'll correct my mistakes and then explain to me how to say it the right way. But let's try to adapt here. Let's go, okay? You need to create a character. You need to choose a race and a class of your character. And me? To create a story for you to play.
That sounds fun. What races and classes can I choose from? Can you give me some examples?
That's cool. Yeah, sure. We have many classes and races, for example, dwarves and elves, and classes like druids. Warlocks and monks. What do you prefer? Then it shows up here, look.
The idea of an elf druid. Can you tell me more about how to create the character?
Look at this. He chose the class and the race. He chose an elf druid. I'm going to finish the conversation here with him, and I'll show how he's going to correct the things I said wrong. Look, I finished talking with him. Wow, that was quite a chat. You said tranana, correction, tranana. Then, when you start the review, he gets it.
You need to choose your talents from the first, second, or third circle of magic.
He recreates the sentence you made in a more correct way, without the grammatical mistakes you used. And then you speak here, you know, to get used to the vocabulary being spoken, right? With speaking, you need to choose your talents from the first, second, or third circle of magic. And so it goes. It's really cool. I thought it was wonderful how Speak teaches us to have a conversation in a way that's not interrupted, because interruptions really break the mood. When someone constantly interrupts to correct you, especially when you're just starting out and make frequent mistakes, it gets really annoying. You just want to give up. Game. That one for me is the strongest, like, it's the most interesting. Because I don't know what the difference is between playing a game in English and still enjoying it, and watching a movie in English and not enjoying it. But I can get over this anger of studying English, of hearing English in a game. In a movie, I can't. I'm currently playing Baldur's Gate, and it's a role-playing game with a lot of conversation. Look, here I'm playing Baldur's Gate. And the big thing is that the game isn't in English. The game has a translation. The characters speak in English, but I'm playing the game in Portuguese. Then you'll ask, so what's the point? At any moment in the game, we have things being said and conversations happening. While she's talking, I might not look at the translation, and the moment I say, wow, what did she say? I didn't understand that sentence. I can look at the translation. So, it's like watching a movie with subtitles, but for me it's much more intriguing to want to understand. And all the time there are conversations going on while we're playing, and you can understand what's happening because there's a whole context. It's wonderful. Let's suppose, look, I'm going to walk to another place here, outside the city. It'll be good because there are things being said. There are several conversations happening at the same time. And sometimes not all the conversations show up at the same time. The translation doesn't show up, see? So, it's wonderful for us to understand and to push ourselves to want to know what each thing is. Studying on YouTube. There are many channels on YouTube about English, podcasts in English, with the goal of helping. It doesn't work. I found it really boring and well, I wanted to try using my little entertainment time to watch videos. I watch a lot of videos on YouTube, right? I'm not a consumer of short videos, I'm a consumer of long videos. So, while I was having my breakfast, I would put on a long video to try to learn a word or two, an expression or two, but I found it really boring, really boring. When I realized it, I was already watching another video, so it wasn't an effective tactic. It's even useful, like, I managed to learn a few things from the video, but I couldn't keep it up consistently. Interesting conversations with English-speaking friends. I think that during this whole period, this was the most effective. So, I have some close friends who speak English, including Samuel, who's 3 floors above here in the building, and we had a little chat in English and everything. He explained to me the way he thinks is the simplest to learn. It was really interesting. I didn't end up recording it, right? However, I have another friend who has lived in the United States for a while and really likes it. Like, he's passionate about studying English, right? He was very willing to help me. That's Tiago. I met him through skating years ago because of another video. And I told him about this experience I was having at the time, and he was really willing to help me. Really willing. And it was much easier. He knows some really good techniques for learning. He even became a scholar, to the point of teaching English classes. And one thing that really helped is that I found out we have a lot of interests in common. I didn't know he liked so many things that I like too, including lucid dreams. It's very hard to find someone, let's say, fluent, skilled with lucid dreams. And he's someone who also studied a lot. And we talked a lot about lucid dreaming and about many other things. Right? We found out that one of us liked it and so did the other. So, when you have a pleasant conversation about topics you're interested in and then you're learning English words related to those topics, it becomes much easier and much more enjoyable. However, I didn't talk to him that much in person, and because of that, I decided to invite him over to my house. We could meet in person so I could practice, and he agreed. I'll share our conversation here. If you don't want to see how I'm doing and what I'm getting wrong, I'm making a lot of mistakes. This conversation took place almost on the last day of the experience. And that's where my English level is, that's where my English level stopped. Well, I'm here with Tiago. I made a lot of use of Tiago, that's kind of weird, right? Nice, he's awesome, right? Tiago has helped me a lot. He's the person I've spoken to the most in English during this whole time. And now we're going to have a chat here to see if anything has changed for me, right? I don't feel like I've changed that much in speaking, but I do feel like I've changed a lot in listening and reading. And even in writing, especially because we spend more time talking to each other in writing, right? So it made things a lot easier. But let's bring up a topic. You bring up a topic, I don't want to interfere with a topic where I know I'll know more words.
Anything in English?
Yes.
Do you want me to ask you some questions and you can see if you understand and reply?
Ask questions or express doubts and I will respond.
How did you learn to lucid dream?
Just one book.
One book.
I start to learn more about this.
Okay, so you started with a book.
Yes.
Do you remember? How long did it take you to get to be lucid?
Yes, it's 14 days.
14? Wow.
14 days. I had my first one. I had my first lucid dream with the most consciousness. Conscious.
So, do you remember if it was like semi-lucid or you really were there?
Semi-lucid. 7 days more or less. 8 days.
Do you remember the dream, the exact one? How did you become lucid? What was the trigger?
The trigger. It was the colors of the sky. Very purple.
Okay.
Very purple, and I asked myself, why is the sky so very purple?
Because they say that after the first one, the others become a little easier. Was it like that for you?
No, after the first one, it's not a little easier yet. I don't know how to say it took a while. When I get stuck on a word like that, I have to find another way to explain to him that it took a while without using the word demoro.
And I can't help?
Was not faster. Maybe 3-4 months to this.
Okay, so
Trying.
it wasn't a very easy process. It took time, and it took effort, and it took experience.
Effort.
Effort, like put a lot of effort into something like you do with your channel and everything. All experiences like your the stories, the campaign. Yeah, your campaign. Yeah, you put a lot of effort and thought into it. Yes, it's a little bit outside of the subject, but it's still about lucid dreaming. You have your channel and everything, and people watch you, all over Brazil. How hard is it to find someone that,
Very hard. Like you?
yeah.
I never ever searched for someone that training, this kind of skills, this sentences.
No, it's good.
Yeah?
It's understandable. It's just like they say, the most important thing is communication. If it's not, just like in this video, you're going to see that I make many mistakes. But the first thing that I learned is that as long as you can communicate, it's like, it's okay.
It's very easy. Heard you explain even in English.
You've been studying for 30 days, right?
Yes.
Like, amazing, the communication, amazing because you're speaking. We were talking about Anna, right? My girlfriend, like, you see, like, people freeze when it's time to talk.
I don't have a problem with this or shaming.
Yeah, shame.
Shame.
I'm actually very shy, not outgoing.
Shy or shame?
Shy. Like, being shy is being very... In the beginning, it's very, like the video, like, it's frustrating, it's hard, it's no fun at all.
I prefer trying to speak English.
Then coding.
Try coding.
But like...
Coding is like hell.
I'm with you, brother. We're going to get some hate. So, that's where the language problem starts, Just as Portuguese has different ways to say the same thing, sometimes with one word meaning several things, English is similar. Then you'll say, I'm going to use this word. Then an American or a Brit, you'll say it. You wanted to use shy, and you used shame. They'll understand, he'll understand, But then, as you start absorbing the language, it becomes part of your structure.
What's the best way to use it, right?
Yeah. Remember, I told you yesterday that a lot of Americans said to me, like, I don't know the rule, but it sounds right, it sounds wrong.
Or it sounds correct, right?
Yeah, that's really crazy.
I can communicate with him much better by writing than by speaking here. When I'm speaking here, you can tell it's more like me trying to adapt to his response in a totally wrong and awkward way. But writing takes it further, right?
Yes. Can I speak in Portuguese now? This part in Portuguese is really interesting. And they say this a lot, that with writing we have time. That's why usually everyone gets really good, really fast. at writing and reading because we're the ones who decide the pace. Like now you said, how does that expression go? Man, I know a bunch, but now my mind is going to freeze. And here's another tip that, man, helped me a lot. Whenever you don't know exactly how to say what you want, just say it in another way. Then I remember that scene from The Matrix, Always Another Way, that the keymaker says,
We have a good conversation now, it's okay.
I'm really impressed. That's why I asked, like, it's been only 30 days. Have you studied before, like in school or something like that? English.
Just games.
Just games?
Just games.
It's very powerful, man. Usually people that get fluent or even advanced, if you ask them, most of them will say that games helped a lot, television shows or movies, but games are very immersive, right? It's back and forth.
And we need to know what's happening.
Yes.
So we're trying with a lot of effort.
Yes. We have to understand to advance, right?
Uh-huh.
Perfect, good. I like this analogy, very good.
Well, that's it, guys. You can see that it freezes a lot. It freezes a lot. I don't know if you noticed. We hadn't talked much before. Our conversation was more fragmented, right? So he probably couldn't notice any kind of progress in me, but I noticed a lot of progress in myself. There's so much content that despite seeing a lot of progress, it's still not enough. It's still far from the end or the maximum and not yet fluent. Now I was able to understand 100% of what he said. The only word I had forgotten from that whole moment was effort, which means effort, right?
Yeah, effort.
He explained it quickly and you saw he didn't have to repeat himself like before when you explained it to me in writing. He had to explain it in many different ways, using images, using GIFs. And I kept thinking, and now it was really quick, so I was able to understand 100% of what you said.
I didn't expect it. That you would flow so much like that.
And what you told me that we don't feel gradual evolution. Before these 30 days, I would just drift. My friends will see this and say, wow, it's cool that you understand.
Did you feel like nervous? Like...
Right here, right now. No, it's the same as if there wasn't a camera. I'm a beginner and can make mistakes without judgment, but then someone says, wow, you're really bad at this. I've never studied or dedicated myself to this, so I shouldn't be afraid of making mistakes. So it's totally fine, and that's good, right? Because that's how you improve, right? By trying. Well, and now I'm going to say here what, from my point of view, I improved during this period with each of those initial attributes. Regarding listening, I think I'm at a 6 right now. I really improved a lot because I talked a lot with Tiago, and I also pushed myself, to do some things, not just talking with Tiago, but also listening because of the game and everything else. He would send me some videos to watch, which were simpler, so I really had a lot of contact with listening during this period. There are some simpler series that are possible to understand. I also tried with The Big Bang Theory, my favorite series along with Black Mirror, but I still can't. The Big Bang Theory has like a very complicated English. They use very difficult words and very difficult references, so even then, it's not possible to understand everything. But it got a lot better. I'm not sure, but when I watch something lighter like Friends, it's much easier to understand. I can understand an entire episode of Friends even though I think it's crap. Yes, I think Friends is crap. You can throw your hate at me, I just can't understand how people can like that show. As for writing, man, my writing has improved a lot. I'll give it like a 7. What still makes things a bit complicated for me, not just for writing. For listening and speaking, past tense is correct since some verbs completely change their form. Things like that. With time, I'll get the hang of. But it got a lot better and I can keep conversations about any kind of subject I want, that I'm familiar with easily, for quite a while. Maybe I'm exaggerating too, giving it a 7, but it's just to try to show you how much I've improved, how much I feel I've improved. In speaking, I think I've improved very little, especially because I still don't feel like I speak well. I still get stuck and make many grammar mistakes. I've made many mistakes in the past, but I can still say a few things. So I'm going to consider that in my speaking I got a score of 4. That's what you saw, right? It's still bad. I wouldn't pass the year. Holding a long conversation on any topic or even writing about it would be very difficult for me. But there was a slight improvement. My reading got a lot better too. I think I could rate my reading at about a 6, 6.5. I think that when it comes to grammar rules, what I learned the most was from the app. With Tiago, our conversations are informal and he doesn't constantly correct me, so it's not annoying. I'm still not able to watch an entire movie and understand 100% of what's going on in the movie. Even though I've studied reading a lot, I'm still not able to read a book 100% in English without having to check the translator all the time. Unless it was a children's book. Well, the only thing missing that would really help me advance a lot in English would be, I don't know, going to the United States and having contact with it every day. Being 100% immersed in an environment where the language is different. Then, your learning curve just skyrockets. Well, that's it for the video. My recommendation, study English. It's useful and will benefit your life. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. If you think something was missing in this English study during this period, leave a comment with your thoughts. See you in the next experience. Such absurd frustration. I could say it differently, but I want to say it this way. You can't do it. The person already understood what you wanted to say, but inside you're still like this. Damn it.
For example, you say 50505. Yeah, it's a slang I learned back in Chicago. It means the cops.
Wow.
The cops. Do you know what os homens means in Portuguese?
Os homens means cops.
Cops. 50 means the same thing. Did you know that?
Yeah, I knew, but that's how it is in Rio, right?
In Rio?
It's a karaoke thing.
But if you say it elsewhere, what does os homens mean? People in São Paulo or Rio know, but in other states, they don't. If someone just arrived from another state, what does os homens mean?
Is that 50? Is that os homens too?
I learned that one in Chicago. I don't know if all American... Now, this thing is really serious. I don't know if every American would understand. But, for example, when I was living there, I remember I went to Texas. And then I said 50. What's 50? He didn't know.
Wow.
Because that's the slang I learned back in Chicago.